the way that it has been shown. I know that I can't change what's wrong. The damage can't be undone. On the verge of a breakdown, I can feel it in my bones. On the verge of a breakdown, I don't Oh, scummy, why are you an asshole? I think I might have said this like once or twice before, I don't know. Oh, scummy, why are you wasted every day, every single moment, every hour that you're away? I only wish that I had the chance to get it on with Pam Anderson before she lived like my spirit and Danny DeVito, he is my hero. And I'm sorry that I got distracted from what the song's about. Oh, scummy, why are you such a piece of shit? Okay, maybe you're not a piece of shit, and I'm just jealous. I only wish that I had the chance to get it on with Pam Anderson before she lived like my spirit and Danny DeVito. Every day I wake up tired, leaving coffee doesn't help. I wanna set my alarm on fire, but I know that it wouldn't end too well. Would somebody please just help me? I can't quite explain what's happening to me. What's happening to me? Day in and day out, body's aching all the time now. Every day feels like Groundhog Day. Got me feeling like I'm Bill Murray. Would somebody please just help me with figuring out what's happening to me? What's happening to me? Maybe it's 'cause I'm growing Would somebody please just help me with figuring out? And I can't quite explain what's happening to me. I do not want to be your punching bag, 'cause I'm done with that. I will not let myself be a doormat.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest episode of ImNoBookie, your home for all things combat sports and the place where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. The views and opinions presented on the ImNoBookie channel belong solely to the person expressing them, no one else. If we say it, that means we meant it. That being said, this show does contain adult themes, adult content, and general shit that you shouldn't be letting your kids intake. Be advised, viewer discretion is recommended. Proceed at your own risk. You've been warned. If it's Thursday, it's probably all fucked up. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, to the latest episode of the ImNoBookie podcast. I do apologize. We are clearly running late. Everything that could go wrong has. Things are all out of whack. People are here when they should be there and there when they should be here. Cameras are working when they shouldn't be and should when they aren't be. And just, things are bad right now. But we're here. We're going to try and crunch this down and get as much of this out as we can because fuck today. So we're going to try and push on through it. That being said, as you saw in the chat, Golf T is currently at the airport waiting to pick somebody up, and then he will be here as soon as he can get back. But we do have this other kid here with us, ready to help break shit down. How you doing over there?
I'm doing pretty good. I didn't think I'd be able to make it on because my computer had an update, but like I told Meter, I didn't expect it to do it in 72 seconds. I'm used to 72 hours because Windows.
Right. No shit. No shit indeed. Fucking computer technology just today is bad for technology all the way around, I think. I'm not going to do a full fucking recap. There was a lot of great fights last weekend. There was a lot of interesting things that happened last weekend, including every finisher on the card getting a $50,000 bonus. Sorry, I just don't have time or fucking energy right now to go into all that recap shit. I'm honestly struggling to keep the show going right now. I almost turned the whole thing off and didn't do it, but there's some interesting things to go over, so we're going to try and push through here. I'm going to crunch through these news as quick as we can here. There's a couple of fight announcements. Bellator 278 in Hawaii, they added Juliana Velasquez versus Liz Carmouche for the belt as the main event, which feels extremely fucking insulting considering Alimale McFarland literally helped put the Bellator women's side of the house on the map, and they're going back to her home area and they put her on the fucking prelims and gave Liz Carmouche, with 2 fights in the organization, the title shot over Juliana, over Alimale rather. Just everything about that whole situation is very fucked up. They're trying to make Yancy Medeiros their new star and ignore the already existing star that they have going into her backyard. But, you know, Bellator. Nascimento is injured. Alexander Romanov will be stepping in to fight Tanner Boser on April 23rd for the UFC. Kind of big surprise to everyone who's been paying attention this week. Jimmy Rivera signed with the BKFC and will be making his debut May 6th versus an opponent they still haven't decided yet. A couple of announcements like that. You'll notice that's kind of a running theme here. In light of recent things going on in the world and Yaroslav Amosov staying in Ukraine to help deal with that, the change has been made as of right now. MVP will fight Logan Storley at Bellator 28 in London later on this summer for the interim belt so that Yaroslav can take care of what he's taking care of over in Ukraine. Thoughts are definitely with him for being over there. Santiago Ponzinibbio is stepping back in on May 21st to take on Michelle Pereira, and we can only fucking hope that Ponzinibbio can end that overdue fucking hype train derailment. June 25th, Tim Elliott, coming fresh off of his cheating victory, will get back in there against Amir Albazi. have not seen Amir in a while, and that very well could be a walking papers fight if Elliott's managed to get around him. We got a weird announcement from Scott Coker this afternoon. Gegard Mousasi will be fighting Johnny Eblin for the belt in the June Bellator card, which has not officially been confirmed yet. They don't have a date or location for that card yet, but are actively building it. So that's an interesting thing that Scott Coker is doing. We got word that Paige Van Zant is going to be headlining the BKFC London card on July 9th against, kind of like we talked about earlier, an opponent that has not been determined yet. They have booked a main event slot for a person and not a fight. And we all know how that always works out so fucking well. So yeah, BKFC not only once, but twice this week announced that they have a fighter taking on a card with no opponent. Good fucking move, David Feldman. Good move. Benson Henderson officially re-signed with Bellator, and they announced his next fight will be September 23rd at the Bellator Dublin show against Peter Queally. So they are obviously trying to fast track him as quickly as they can back at a title shot over there. Excuse me, since Queally's just coming off of a title shot. A couple of non-fight announcements here. Gable Stevenson won his second NCAA title and then promptly retired from wrestling at 23 in college to leave college and go join the WWE, where he has already signed a multi-million-dollar contract. Good for you, make that money, but stop trying to talk about legitimately fighting if you're going to go the WWE route like this. We've already shown that doesn't work. If you're going to go WWE, you do that at the end of your career, not the beginning, because you can't go from there to legitimate fighting. It just doesn't work. We got video released this week of last weekend's Glory 80 crowd literally tearing out into a riot during the middle of the co-main event. Still no confirmation as to what the fuck caused it, but you can see in the middle of the co-main event, I believe they were just starting the third round, just ended the second round, starting the third round, and then a bunch of dudes start ripping their shirt off in the crowd and literally picking up chairs and throwing them across the crowd at each other, and a giant fucking riot breaks out in half of the arena as people scattered the fuck out, and they obviously halted the match and canceled the main event and shut the rest of the event down. Very, very odd, because generally Glory crowds are pretty well maintained considering they're there to see fucking kickboxing. But this was a legitimate full out riot that just broke out in the crowd during an active fight taking place in the ring. It was very odd to say the least. Not that they're ever doing particularly well, excuse me, but Bellator is especially in hot water right now, as we've got confirmation in the last 36 hours that not only is the champion Sergio Pettis injured and out of the Bellator Grand Prix, now the front runner number one contender James Gallagher as well is injured and out, meaning that 2 of the 8 men in the Grand Prix are now removed, including one of them being the fucking champion of the division, the belt holder. So not only does the bracket get fucked up in that way, but with now Gallagher and Pettis out, they've announced they're going to make it even more complicated and ridiculous. Scott Coker is actually going to have 2 sets of fights take place, essentially have 4 different gentlemen fight off, or 4 different sets of gentlemen rather, fight off for the chance to fill in these 2 spots, despite the fact that one gentleman was already guaranteed to be the alternate after an astonishing win on the last Bellator card. And Scott Coker said specifically in an interview last week that they had several alternates lined up in case something just like this happened. And now that it happened, turns out no, they did not. Not only did the one gentleman not get his guaranteed alternate spot, but now they're going to make all these guys fight their way in for a spot to fight their way into the Grand Prix. So it's just a weird fucking deal. And it doesn't look good on anybody, in my opinion. 1 second. We did get an interesting piece of news after this last weekend's crazy UFC London card. We did find out that Paddy the Baddy, as it were, excuse me, was dumb enough, and yes, I say dumb enough, to sign himself to a 12-12 UFC contract, which is, for a fact, less money than the Contender Series fighters fight for, and a considerable amount less than what his Cage Warriors contract was prior to coming to the UFC. So despite all the shit he might be talking, which he isn't really backing up, in my opinion, he was stupid enough to sign a 12-12 contract when Contender Series fighters fight for 15-15. So there's that whole Paddy situation is starting to get a lot more weird, and there's a lot more coming out about it, and it's not all sunshine and rainbows, should we say. So it's going to be real interesting to see how that plays out going forward.
I need to throw something in on that, because that was brought up on what is it, fucking Big John McCarthy, his podcast.
Weighing in.
Yeah, that was brought up, and his quote about Paddy Pimblett was his competition in Cage Warriors was far greater than that of who he has faced in the UFC.
Absolutely agree.
But he has almost been fucked up both times by people that are of less skill, technical ability, fight IQ in the UFC than the Cage Warriors. He has almost been fucking leveled multiple times in the UFC. Cage Warriors, motherfuckers, he was in the Matrix.
Yeah. The flying triangle. Like that's one of the things that he's notorious for. If he would have tried that flying triangle, even on either one of the dudes that he fought in the UFC, they'd have thrown him on the fucking ground like a WWE maneuver.
Yeah, like the old school, just rampage jacks and pick them up, drop you on your head to a knockout.
Throw him down, yeah.
I mean, that like his competition is not what it was in Cage Warrior, but something's going on because he is performing not as good being a UFC fighter as he was in Cage Warrior. There's a disconnect. Something's going on there.
Yeah. Not to mention, why would you sign a contract for less money?
Yeah, I mean,
a bigger organization.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense unless he's the only way that I could see that is unless he could talk them into giving him a higher bonus if he gets a performance of the night, because it's a 12-12 plus performance.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Even the fucking Contender Series soup cans, though, fight for 15-15 plus performance.
Yeah.
So like, he literally started himself out lower than guys trying to fight for a contract in the UFC and is bragging about it.
I mean, it's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Absolutely.
Like my theory is, whenever I get a new job, is pay me what you think is okay, and I'm going to agree to that. And then in 60 days, I'm going to throw you an offer with what you have seen me do, and you're going to pay me what I tell you you're going to pay me. Unless he's going to try and pull that move.
Well, I can't remember. I wish I could remember who the fuck it was. One of the MMA journalists that I was reading something on this week said that there was a similar maneuver to this done by Conor in the early days after I want to say it was after the Seaver fight, either the Seaver or the Dennis Brumage fight, one of the two. In the early days, Conor started basically laying the groundwork for demanding pay-per-view without being a champion. Like trying to demand what, or setting the groundwork for what he was going to throw in on top of what you're already quote unquote negotiating, that most fighters don't have. And that's what Paddy's trying to do. The difference being Conor was a Cage Warriors double champ before he came to the UFC. Paddy had that 55 belt. He's fought at 45, but he didn't pull that Conor McGregor start the champ shit. And as soon as Conor got to the UFC, he started defeating higher level opponents, not the soup can saying that I'll fight higher guys when you give me higher money. Conor showed up and started tearing through higher level competition right out of the fucking gate. That's why when he was saying, I want more money, they gave it to him, because when they increased the competition level to compensate for the increase in money, he kept performing. Whereas the O'Malley's and the Paddy Pimblets now don't even want to consider fighting higher ranked guys until they get a higher ranked contract to compensate what they feel is the damage. And that's just not how this game works. And I feel like Paddy's about to find that out the hard way. And I'm kind of going to giggle when he does.
Yeah.
The problem being is that once you start down that slippery slope, you could actually end up being just like your heroes, which brings us to our next story here. Conor McGregor was arrested over the weekend for, how did they phrase it? Dangerous and extremely reckless driving outside of Dublin. The report is that he was doing approximately 160 miles an hour in a 70 mile per hour zone, and led the police on a bit of a chase, which is unconfirmed. What we do know is that he was arrested at the scene and they impounded his Bentley. That's generally not something that happens when you're just getting a speeding ticket or you're going a little too fast. They generally don't arrest you and impound your vehicle unless you're fucking flying, especially near Dublin when you're Conor McGregor. The shine is starting to wear off a little bit on that McGregor untouchableness, I feel. And rightfully so. He squandered all that fucking good fortune that he had built up. But the fact that they arrested Conor McGregor just outside Dublin for driving fast and then impounded that Bentley tells me there was some serious shit going on. And this was the lighter of the ways that it could have ended up. Sticking with the theme of charges being placed, we also got word this afternoon that old Uncle Chael has officially got the full pent of what started in Las Vegas a couple months back. He has officially been charged with 11 counts. Hang on, let me see if I can get the exact phrasing of what this was here real quick, because it's let's see. It was something to the effect of felonious strangulation or something like that. Here it is. 1 second, quick scanning. Charges, here we go. Oh, they updated the story and they reworded it. Son of a bitch. So basically, Chael has got a felony count of something to the effect of felonious strangulation, and then 10 misdemeanor counts of assault and battery. Very much goes along with the bystander stories that Chael fought his way through a crowd to get to the one person who was fucking with his wife and then beat the shit out of the one person who was giving his wife shit. The 11 charges, 10 of them being misdemeanors, and then one felonious strangulation. That it seems to line up pretty well. But the last one that we've got for this week, the big one, we got word over the weekend that there was an incident, a run-in, if you will. Jorge Masvidal tracked down Colby Covington at a restaurant in Miami over the weekend and jumped his ass, allegedly. Multiple witnesses have confirmed that as Colby was leaving the restaurant, Jorge pulled up in a vehicle, jumped out, came walking up, and multiple people have said that Jorge could be heard as he, quote unquote, allegedly assaulted Colby. You shouldn't have said shit about my fucking kids. Well, after word about that came out, we got confirmation today that Colby Covington has officially pressed felony assault and battery charges against Jorge Masvidal, who had a warrant issued for him, turned himself in, was arrested and released on bond. I think it was 4 different charges that they are putting on Jorge: felony assault and battery, and then Colby also said that his $90,000 Rolex was broken in the process of it, so they're hitting him with a destruction of personal property charge as well. It's basically they put him on $15,000 bond, which he immediately made and let out, and it has. I think the best way to sum it up is that it's a big reveal of a person's character, in my opinion. When you've got a guy willing to talk all that shit like Colby was, and then when Jorge shows up in real life and tries to hold him accountable for all the shit that he talked, Colby cried bitch and then turned and called the cops and pressed charges.
I have a great quote verbatim from one Khabib Nurmagomedov. I have it up on my phone. I have it saved on Instagram. If you are stronger than somebody inside the octagon, it does not mean you have the right to insult their children. No one has the right to insult someone's family. Once you have gone down this path, then be ready to back those words up. You were attacked by a professional fighter, the same as you are, your own size, and you go to the police and press charges. He goes on to say that all welterweights should refuse fights to make him suffer for doing said things. And let me just throw this out there. Poppy Steaks restaurant, 736 that First Street. That's the restaurant. I hope they get a lot of fucking press because that's a good fucking restaurant. Oh, they make some good. That's some good fucking food. But with that being said, fat moment out of the way. You're a professional fighter. You talk some shit. You get the shit beat out of you. Shake your hand. Beat the fuck out of me. Have a good day, man. I deserved it. Don't be a bitch. You're fucking Colby Covington. You're the upper echelon of a fucking weight division. You get the shit kicked out of you, whether it's a MMA fighter or some random person that doesn't like you on the street. Are you going to try and call the cops on them too? No, you're a fucking man. Trying to fight them off. Take your licks. Fucking deal with it. Don't be a bitch. Point blank. But I think Khabib's message was very firm on that talk shit, get hit, just in more eloquent form.
Oh, I did miss one. Here we go. Okay. So, we've got a minute here to wait for golf tea. I need to check something real quick. Yeah, okay. So somebody still doesn't have it. But
No.
Golf Tea and I did have our picks from last week. Let me get everything lined up here real quick. Sorry, it's being a little fucky. There we go. Okay. That's not the right one either. There we go. That's the one we're looking for. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Let's see if this works. Maybe. There we go. Haha, look at that. Kind of got it working. There we go. Mostly
Yeah.
works now. Okay, so in terms of this coming week's UFC predictions, we've got those up. So let me see if I can get last ones. I think that should be the one. Yeah, there we go. I think I've got one more here. Should be. There we go. Okay, so last week's results. Oh, hang on. One of those still isn't right. Damn it, Beavis. Oh, I was looking at the wrong one. That's why.
Is your name Joe Rogan's hairline?
Yes, it is. Yeah, my account name on Tapology is Joe Rogan's hairline.
I just noticed that the username. It was like, oh, that's TJ's. And I was like, Joe Rogan's hairline. Oh,
Yeah. So I had a very off week last week, to say the least. I went 5 for 12. I did, for the record, though, call Paddy Pimblett winning in the first round and Paul Craig winning via submission. I also picked Ilya Taporia winning by KO in round 2. So did Golf T. We both knew that one was coming and called that one perfect. We both had Muhammad Mokaev winning. Golf T thought he was getting submission round 2. I thought he was getting a KO in round 1. He actually got a submission in round 1. So we were both half and half right there. We both thought McKenna was going to take it, and she did not. That was a crazy fucking fight. He had Shore by decision. I had Valia by decision. Shore won by decision. We both had Craig by submission because that was kind of a given. I had round 2. He had round 3. He got it in round 1. So, there's that. TJ got the Sasha Pavlovich KO round 1. I thought it was going to go the other way. I thought Shamil was going to have that. Golf T got Amir Khani on that one. I thought Grundy was going to take him. Golf T had the meatball Molly. I thought Carolina was going to take it. We both thought Sato had it, and Gunny got his ass. We both gave it to fucking Patty. Neither one of us had it right by the way or the round, though. We both thought Hooker by decision, and we're wrong there. We both did have Aspinall winning. I had him by KO round 2. Golfy had him by KO round 1. Turns out he got it by submission round 1. Oh, that was a crazy fucking card, to say the least. Speaking of the devil.
Welcome to the
Any
Golf
trouble?
Tee Show, folks.
What do you say? So Yeah, last week picks were interesting. I went 5 for 12 overall. The avocado for Liberty is running with us. He went 7 for 12 overall. Golf T ran down last week's fucking champion picks. 9 for 12 last week. So good run on that one. Since somebody still doesn't have a Tapology account because it's apparently too difficult to create and take 3 minutes to make their picks. We do still have this week's picks though for Golf T and I. There we go. Let's see here. We both got Souza, Nicolau, and Farrow. Very similar cards here. I have got Sarah McCann. Golf T has got Carol Rosa. Both got Magni. I think DeCasey's going to take it. DeCasey, however you'd like to pronounce that. We both got the Dad Bought a Constrictor. Ooh, you're going with Askar, huh?
Yeah. I was going against my gut there, but that's where I went with it.
Yeah, that's a tough one to call, man. Kara's on such a fucking tear.
He is, but we've seen some weird shit out of Kaikar fronts, which is where I'm fucking a little bit thrown off on whether I took him or not. And I was like, he's been kind of hit or miss. And he's the one guy out of that gym that has really been hit or miss.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree completely. But in this situation, I got to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I have to ask. In Ohio, you're giving Barbarina the edge over Matt Brown?
Yeah. Matt Brown's old ass needs to fucking retire. Look, I love all the things that Matt Brown has done for the fucking UFC as a whole, but because of how I feel about wanting him to retire, I have to give it to Barbarina. And it's not that I don't think a nasty elbow can come from him and end the fight, because that is a very strong possibility, but I'm taking the fucking weird slide on this one away from him. Because to be honest, I think it's his fucking time to just cut the gloves off. He's at home. Go out on your shield, cut the gloves off, call it a fucking day.
Okay, now with that being said, I love Matt Brown. I train with him, Mortal MMA. I train with those guys sometimes. Love his crew there. I do absolutely agree that he should retire. He just started a coffee company, Immortal Coffee, immortalcoffee.com.
Thought I saw something about that. Yeah.
Just started a coffee company. It's actually pretty fucking tasty. He's got his own fucking gym. He's got all that shit. I absolutely agree that he should retire. But as of officially today, if he wins this fight, he put it up on his Instagram. He is going to try and get a 8-fight contract for a 2-year, 4-fight a year, which I don't think he should do that. I think he should focus on business. Like we talked about last week, investment in yourself. He's investing. He's created his own gym, his own coffee company. He's done all this stuff. I think he should focus on that, expand the gym, go more than just Lewis Center, Ohio, branch one out into Columbus itself, come over my way. So I have one closer to me. So I'm not driving 45 minutes, just saying. And it's closer to your house, man. You live right down the road from me. Come on.
Right. And we both got Grasso over Jojo, which I think is probably the smartest bet on the card. And then Blades versus Daukaus. I've got Daukaus, you've got Blades. Interesting.
I think he's going to wrestle fuck the shit out of him. That's why.
I have a strong feeling it very well could go that way. The only thing that I'm thinking about, though, that changes my mind for that is that we're looking at both of Derek Lewis's children, and Daukaus is a smart kid, if nothing else. So he's going to have gone back and watched the tape on Lewis versus Blades.
Well, yeah, he's going to look
possibility
for the perfect uppercut when he's coming in for a fucking takedown. However, he's not fucking the Black Beast. He is not Derek Lewis.
No, he's not.
He has the knockout power, but it is not the same. That's comparing a mosquito bite to a murder hornet.
True.
Two totally different types of bites there.
No. The thing is, though, is that that's not the first time Curtis has come in like that. Curtis has a habit of not hiding his takedown attempts and leading in with his forehead like that, which is how Derek was able to just go, "Oh, hi, Bink."
But it
if
took him quite a
Daukaus
few
is
tries to
smart,
finally Ohio him. That's the
that's what
problem.
I'm saying. If Daukaus is smart, he can watch for that same opening, and he might not be able to catch him with that one shot uppercut, but you could certainly step off and fucking put him down or give him an old fucking Jorge Askren style. Like there's options there in it.
I'm not saying there's
Curtis
not
didn't get dropped
options.
like that because it was his first time throwing his head down, is all I'm saying.
Hey,
My-
I'm not saying there's not options out there and he doesn't do that all the time. I'm just thinking he does manage to get Daukaus to the ground and fucking ride him out for 5 fucking rounds. He's gonna dog piss tire the hell out of him. What I probably should have done was I probably should have went like a 4th round TKO finish. Because
Once
he's tired, that's usually when he ends up fucking winning those fights if he finishes them. If not, he just grinds them out. Because he's a heavyweight version of Khabib when it comes to fighting, except for nowhere near as good at the wrestling.
Yeah, very, very similar, absolutely. No, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out for sure. That being said, though, with Golf T and the kid here, that means we are able to indeed have ourselves a recurring episode of The Pit. This being the part where those of you watching and not just listening get to see that terrifying GIF roll across the screen to let you know that this is the moment in the live show where we take things from informative and breakdown to straight up head-to-head combat between our two co-hosts here, making things a little bit competitive, but still keeping it somewhat lighthearted as we do. This being the pit, we've got a series of questions here pertaining to both this weekend's upcoming UFC Fight Night Columbus card and other things in the general world at large, punchy, kicky though they may be. First and foremost, as we like to do around here, we're going to keep it in the vein, but we're going to twist it just a little bit. We're going to open this particular episode, since it is the hometown show and the hometown kid is the returning champion. We're going to bring it up a little bit here, and we're going to start with the highlight of the evening, the most important, if you will, the marquee question to open it up. Main event going down. Chris Daukaus comes in trying to just absolutely stamp his name on that heavyweight division, despite the shakeup he got from Derek Lewis. Curtis Blaydes standing in the way with that old school giant finger. So how do you think it plays out, RJ? Daukaus versus Blaydes, main event. You're up first, sir.
Okay, so as both of y'all just discussed, I think Daukaus pulls it off, mostly because Blaydes, whenever he goes in for a takedown, he doesn't set it up. He doesn't come in with kicks, changing levels from kicks, punches to go in for a takedown. He just tries to go for it. And somebody that's fighting him knows that, so he knows the tells and the transitions of what Blaydes is going to do, because Curtis Blaydes does one of 3 different run-ins for a single leg or a double leg to pretty much rugby tackle you over onto your fucking ass. He does these same 3 setups. All of them, his face is exposed, unprotected, just waiting for a knee, an uppercut, just fucking yank your head up and guillotine the fuck out of you. There's too many options there to get fucked. Too many options for me to say Curtis wins it, because there's more options for Daukaus to put him on his ass, knock him out, or make him tap. Because that's a big fucking man, and you get your head in between those big ass arms. I don't think Blaydes is going to get the fuck out. I'm going to call it like a early mid to third mid, or early mid, or Jesus Christ words, early third to mid third knockout to Daukaus. Words live. I'm retarded, apparently.
Interesting. Bold strategy indeed. That brings us back over to you, Golf T. Main event. We know you got Blaydes doing it, but how do you think he gets it done and when?
All right, look. To counter what he's saying there, yes, he leaves himself open. You're right. However, He's only lost 3 times since 2017, twice to the current heavyweight champ Francis Ngannou. Once in 2016, and I think the other one is in 2018 or 19. 2018. And his most recent loss was to Derek Lewis. Those are the only 3 losses he's had on his record since 2016. 5 fucking years. He's only had 3 losses. And he's fought quite a bit. And it's been a who's who of the fucking heavyweight division. Look, you can leave your head open all day long, but if people can't fucking hit it and only 2 people have managed to finish you, and one is the current champ, and one is who is challenged for the championship on more than one occasion, I'm just saying, apparently what you're doing is fucking working. Good luck to a newer guy in Daukaus coming up who I fucking absolutely love, but I think he's going to end up getting wrestle fucked the shit out of and taking the decision. Possibly finished in the 4th round, only because he might be gassed out by then. But yeah, he leaves himself open, but there's only 2 people who have managed to actually hit that button. Two in the last 3 years. I mean, he's fought the likes of Volkov, Rosenstrike, fucking, who else is in there? Dirahimov. I mean, there's a fucking Overeem. He fucking KO'd Overeem. We got to remember that back in 2018. So the dude, he's very legitimate in what he's doing. But you can't hit him on the fucking button. I'm just saying, only 2 people have managed to do it. And to be honest, I love Derek Lewis, but I think his was pretty fucking lucky. It was well-placed shot, but I think it was pretty fucking lucky.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you run that Lewis fight back 10 times. I don't think Derek Lewis lands that uppercut again. I don't think Curtis is going to hide his takedowns any different, but I don't think Derek lands that punch. If you run him
Why
back
change
10
something
times.
that fucking works when only 2 people have actually put you down?
Yeah, no shit. No, I agree. It's a tough call here. I do agree with RJ. I do think that Daukaus is going to get it done, but I do agree with Galti as well. In order to do it the way that I think Daukaus can get it done, he's essentially going to need a miracle here, because that chin is always exposed, but it does take a touch fairly well as well. So we are going to give points for round 1 to Galti. So with that being said, that'll flip us over to round 2 here. And since we flipped the opening, we're going to flip the follow-up as well. So that means for round 2, we're going to start over here with Galti. And round 2, we're going to go co-main event here. So in our co-main event this coming weekend, we have got one Joanne Wood, no longer Calderwood, just Wood, versus Alexa Grasso, one of the hottest young lady prospects in the UFC, throwing it down. How do you think that one shakes loose, Galti?
Dude, the only thing I have to say on this is when you went from Calderwood to Wood, you lost your touch, because she's looked like shit since that fucking name change. And Grasso, albeit she had a minor setback, she has had a pretty good tear through that division. And I think it's finally time for that changing of the guards, especially for Wood, Calderwood, whatever the hell she's going to call herself from here on out. So I'm pretty sure it's a change in the guard situation. To be honest, as much as I'd like to think Grasso is going to finish her, I think she's going to decision her, because Wood is still a pretty goddamn tough girl. She is one tough lady. So I don't think she's going to get a finish on her in 3 rounds. Yeah, we'll see come Saturday.
Very true. Very true. All right. So, RJ, Grasso is looking to step in and stamp her place, push the old guard out, as it were. How do you think our co-main event shakes loose this weekend?
Well, one, let me just throw it out there that I can give 2 fucks about this fight. Mostly because neither one of them, I think, has what it takes to really compete against like the upper echelon of what is there, especially, one savage named Valentina Shevchenko. That's not there. I think TJ is absolutely right. Grasso for the W. The only way that she gets a victory not by decision would be a submission, because that's the only fucking thing that she's half good at, because she's not that fucking good on her feet. Her quite literal only only stoppage victory is a fucking submission, and that was her debut fight. Wood, that's his fucking slippery slope, and that bitch turned into a fucking cliff real quick. She needs to get the fuck out of the UFC. She had her off the pot moment.
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely inclined to agree here. I don't know if it was just the fact that they were so focused on getting the wedding done, or if they just took their foot off the gas in terms of training or what. But when Joanne went from Calderwood to Wood, it seemed like her and her husband both kind of let off the MMA pressure a little bit. And despite that little hiccup in Grasso's run, I really don't see anything that has tripped her up. And even the little hiccup was a fairly minor hiccup in the grand scheme of things. We are going to give points for round 2 here to the kid. I really don't generally think this fight needed to be co-main event. Even if it does end spectacularly, it really doesn't have a whole lot of impact on the division either way. It is a co-main event though, so, you know. But that being said, round 3, we're going to flip them back around again here. Round 3, we are going to go with our overhyped fight here. So we know that there are numerous fights on this card that people will not shut up about. One of them for you is the one that needs to just stop. So, RJ, which is your overhyped fight of the card this evening, sir?
Okay, so out of the box moment here. I think they're equally both overhyped. Maya, and the fight that we just talked about. That none of those make sense. None of that fucking matters because nobody is going to legitimately give a proper competition against Valentina Shevchenko. So it doesn't fucking matter how much hype you build up around the goddamn fight. Nobody's taking the belt from that fucking woman. Everybody's building up this hype about, oh, this person and Maya and then fucking Grasso. But Wood, it doesn't fucking matter. You're just going to be hanging out, just waiting to be a fucking punching bag for somebody that is far better than you and far better looking than you in every fucking way possible. Like, fucking get real. Get the fuck out of the division. Get the fuck out of the UFC. Go to Bellator. Go to One. Go to fucking Ryzen. Go somewhere else. Because there's no competition in the upper echelon. It just stays the same 5 fucking fighters just flip-flopping back and forth every 2 months.
Interesting indeed. So, Galti, that'll bring it over to you. Of the overhyped fights on this card, which there are absolutely several, which is the one that stands out to you that just is getting all the undeserved fucking attention?
Oh, I'm going straight for the fucking heart here. Everybody from Ohio, that fucking Matt Brown fight. That dude is well past his prime. Why it is getting the attention it is, I have no fucking clue other than the fact that, oh, he's from Ohio. So let's put him on the Ohio card. No, fuck that noise. Make him fight out of the fucking Apex Center because he doesn't deserve a crowd at his old age. He needs to understand that it's time to fucking leave, lay down the gloves, call it a fucking day. To be honest, I hope Barberina knocks him the fuck out. Not because I dislike Matt Brown, because I really like the guy. As far as fucking MMA is concerned, he's an absolute legend of the fucking sport. But he's well past his prime, and they've been feeding him fucking soup cans to make him look good and keep his name relevant so they can use him as a moneymaker. Over fucking hyped for that reason. It's kind of like when you put fucking other aging fucking guys with names on the card. Same fucking reason. Except for now, hometown boy fucking fighting at home, over fucking hyped, over the hill.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I do think there is something to be said for the fact that Matt Brown gets an at-home fight against Brian fucking Barberina. Meanwhile, Jim Miller, who still holds active records in the UFC, has to fight off young fucking terrorizing prospects like Nicholas fucking Mota in his fights to keep getting his fucking name thrown on a fucking roster somewhere. And that's absolutely fucking ridiculous. I'm completely in agreement here. As much as I agree, both of the ladies' fights on the card are a bit ridiculous because neither one of those fucking fights, regardless of the outcome, stands a fucking minutest threat possible to Valentina. But the overhype around Matt Brown somehow getting lucked into this at-home Columbus fight, if he doesn't lay his fucking gloves down in the octagon after this fucking fight, regardless of the outcome, this was a waste of a promotional spot on a fight card, in my opinion.
That's what I'm honestly fucking hoping for. I love Matt. I love
if he puts him down after the fight, I'm totally okay with it. And I get that if they knew that and they held that from us, knowing that that's what he was planning to do either way, if that turns out to be the case, I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
But that's going to be a hindsight decision made. As
much as I said right there, I'm right in agreement. I fucking absolutely love Matt Brown for what he has done for the sport of MMA. Like I said earlier, he is an absolute legend of the sport. Those elbows are known for fucking days. But when it's your time, it's your fucking time, man. Nothing against him. Not at all. I've rooted for him. To be honest, I'm probably still going to root for him on Saturday, even though I hope Barberena wins, just to kind of say, yeah, here's a shootout moment. But I would love to see him win and just fucking lay those gloves down at home. Call it a fucking day. Go run the rest of your businesses, man. Have a great fucking retirement. Do great things coaching. Because, dude, fucking teach people your elbow technique for fucking Christ's sakes.
It's clearly still a fucking legitimate thing.
Yeah. I mean, he's got some legitimate shit to teach people. I'm just saying, it's out there. And I wish him all the best. But to be honest, I'm wishing him down the road.
Right. Well, that said, though, that'll bring us to round 4. So round 4, we're flipping it back over to the other side of that. Round 4, of all the fights on this card, which one stands out to you as the dark horse? Which one has slid under the radar and just isn't getting the attention that it deserves? Because there are a couple of those on this card as well. So Golf T, this one goes to you, sir. Which one is your dark horse fight of the weekend?
That's a bit of a tough one on a slim card, to be quite honest, because I've looked it over a couple different ways, and my mind wants me to piss everybody off here, so I'm going to do it. I want to say the Jennifer Maia Manafiore fight. Why? Because that little French lady is about to knock the block clean off of fucking Jennifer Maia as long as she can keep it on the feet. Because Maia's only hope is to get it to the fucking ground. And to be honest, this is the exit for Maia we all want. She's been sitting at the top fucking wrestle fucking and trying to submit people for how long now? She just took a fucking loss and is still ranked number 4 for some fucking odd goddamn reason that I can't figure out. So, I mean, she lost to Caitlin fucking Chikagian, and that says a fucking lot, and that was 2 months ago. What the fuck are you doing back here? Get the fuck out of here. Get out of this division. Go kick rocks somewhere. Go take up just fucking combat jiu-jitsu or something. You know, at least there you would fit in more. I'm just saying, Uncle Chael's got a check ready for you, even if he's up on charges, guaranteed.
Right, that accountant's still working. Oh, man. Fucking craziness. So that flips it back over to you, sir. Mr. RJ, what in your eyes is the dark horse fight of the weekend? The one that just is not getting the press and is going to blow everybody's fucking doors off when it cracks through.
Okay. I'm saying this mostly because of they're both new fighters, but watching their tape is pretty fucking impressive. And I think it's going to be a really interesting fight. I don't know how to say that motherfucker's name. The Black Wolf. He's fighting Magomed. Or Magadov. I don't know how to say the motherfucker's name, but watching their tape, both of them individually, He's on the prelim card. I don't know how the fuck to say that man's name. There's
Which one?
the Abus Magomedov and the other guy.
Are you looking at the right card?
Yes.
I think you're missing something there.
Hmm.
There's no Magomed on this card.
No. What?
Are you talking possibly about Ali Sabab Kiziriev? I'm probably marking
Yes.
his well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did they just not update? Did they not update their fucking page then?
No, probably not.
Because I keep all my stuff just pop up just so I can look at fucking names, and
No.
they don't.
Fighting Dennis Tululian.
Oh, whenever I fucking have, whenever I go to the thing, it comes up as Abus Magam, whatever the fuck. Quite literally, I'm looking at it. It's a unlocked character for the UFC.
Sir, this is why you need a Tapology account.
Yep.
Sir, I don't give a fuck. But still, my answer remains the same on that because that guy's a new fighter. How the fuck you say the Russian guy's name? He's a new fighter for the UFC, but watching his fucking tapes back, that's gonna be an interesting fucking fight for the UFC because that man is fucking kind of big but quick and explosive as fuck. I think that's gonna be some fucking fireworks. I think it's gonna be fucking exciting. Fuck you, UFC, for not updating your shit.
Oh, I've got to say, there is something to be said about watching that little French gal potentially just fucking murder Jennifer Maya in front of a live crowd. But I also have to say the prospect of a middleweight Dagestani is slightly fucking terrifying, and that is one of the fights that I've had my eye on as well, even though I knew that, you know, his name was properly spelled on Tapology because that's where I look at most of my fights. So despite someone only half doing their research, I am still going to give you credit for that one here. We are going to give points to that for RJ, just with a little asterisk. And that being said, though, if you can maths up to this point, that would mean that you can tell we are now all tied up heading into round 5, the sudden death round. So round 5 is our winner take all or nothing round, if you will, where we step a little bit away from the current card and the current situations that we're talking about to get a little bit more of a introspective or a reflective question, if you will. So this last weekend, Golfy and I were talking about it. This was a perfect example of what happens when the majority of the fighters on your card have that hometown advantage. We don't generally see that a lot here in the States because we literally have dozens of different places throughout the US. Even now that we're slowly coming out of the Backstreet reunion, we've still got a dozen or so different places that they can hold events, as proof in the pudding by this coming weekend having a fight night in Columbus instead of back at the Apex. But we don't generally get that type of home field advantage for the Americans because there's so many places here in America to fight, and that's where the majority of the fights take place. But when we've got a situation like last week where we went to London and 10 of the 14 fights had someone from England or someone from that part of Europe that could quote unquote call home the London card. And you could tell that atmosphere had an advantage, had an effect on those fighters, as 9 of the 10 European or English fighters on the card won their fights that night. So my question is, with this obviously not being a thing for the Americans, but Dana talking about going global again, where is the next potential place where we could see enough fighters from that region on a card in that region bring that same kind of fucking crazy hype? RJ, with you being the returning champion here, you get champion's prerogative. Would you like to handle that one first, or would you like to pass it on to Golf Tea?
I have a. I'll take it because it's a out of the box answer. I think France. Because for the longest time, France has been against the combat sport. So many of fighters who have lived in France and wanted to explore the possibility of becoming a professional in MMA, boxing, all that sort of stuff, they've all had to go to another country. And I realistically think that there are enough people from France in the UFC to where that could happen again. But that's home to them. That's just not where they're fighting out of, or they're fighting out of fucking a fucking neighboring country or the US, because most of them come to the US even. But I honestly think it could be France, because I mean that'd just be great to see a UFC event there, because I mean you look at a lot of the fighters, a lot of the big dogs, especially in the heavyweight division, were born in France. Like Cyril Gane was born in France, if I believe correct, and then Ngannou was there with him. Well, came up to that part of the Europe.
Yep, no, absolutely. I agree. France would definitely put on a good card, and there's several folks from France in the UFC now for sure. Thoreau, like we were just talking about, a great example of that. That could definitely be an interesting one. So, Golf Tea, that brings it over to you, sir. What place do you think could potentially give us that London-esque vibe that we saw last weekend with all that insanity, the hometown crowd?
As much as I love the idea of France, that's pretty goddamn close to London, and especially if you're talking if they do it in fucking Paris. It's literally a fucking short plane ride across fucking the hell is that, the English Channel.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge jump there. I like the idea. However, how come the UFC has not done any cards in Africa at all? We have a ton of great African fighters. You've got champions. You've got guys that are close to being champions. You've got guys that are family is originally from Africa that champions, but they live in different parts of the world now. So they claim African heritage. Somewhere in Africa would be fucking fantastic. Whether it be South Africa, maybe going into someplace like the fucking Congo or something like that, where it's just someplace you wouldn't expect. But the amount of people they could pull from Africa for that, just in the fighter pool alone, would cover the entire fucking card.
Yeah, for damn sure.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that one.
We've had fights in Asia and China. They've had fights, if I remember correctly, in Japan. I mean, the Asian market has been used.
Yeah.
The European market has been used. The American market has been used. They've done it in Mexico. The only other ones I could think of would possibly go to South America, because they do have fucking UFC Brazils every once in a while, but you know, it's been done there. Not done in fucking Africa. Let's go to fucking Africa. Give those guys a show. They fucking deserve it. They have a lot of fucking fighters.
Yeah, my honorable mention would have been New Zealand, because city kickboxing. They have a fuckload of people in the UFC.
Right.
That would have been an honorable mention for me. That came into my head as soon as I said France, because Kayakar France.
Right. No, I think the only downside to them finally putting on a card in Africa at this point is that the real champion has already left the UFC.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying that, but there is still plenty of others out there.
Yeah, I didn't even remotely think of that one.
And
yeah, no,
it's one everybody forgets.
Yeah,
France is a damn good one, but yeah, Africa could be a huge fucking card for sure.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, you could do a fucking pay-per-view there, but stack it out and have like 25 fucking fights on it. instead of like
The
16.
UFC could do in Africa what Bellator's doing in Hawaii. They could do a 2-day 2-event card.
Yeah, yeah,
There's more than enough fighters to pull it off.
yeah.
Yeah, there is.
That'd be fucking really fucking cool to see. Do like a Friday night fight night and then a Saturday night pay-per-view.
Yeah,
That'd be pretty
No,
fucking cool.
that could be pretty fucking huge.
That would be
I
good.
agree.
My honorable mention though would be between Uzbekistan or Kazakhstan, because they have a lot of great fighters coming out of those fucking countries as well.
I was
Got a
thinking
current
Kazakhstan
champ
as
out of
well.
there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, because we ain't going back to Russia any fucking time soon. And the fucking Dagestanis are just going to have to find someplace close enough to adopt as their new national home until all this shit settles the fuck back down. So, but over in Kazakhstan, there's quite a few fighters from Kazakhstan in the UFC. And it's also close enough that the Dagestanis could still fucking claim it. And, you know, most of the fucking UAE area fucking folks could still feel close enough at home to it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Kazakhstan would be my honorable mention as well. That being said, though, as great as France would be, I'm going to have to give our points and the round to France. Golf T has officially taken back the W. Congratulations, sir.
Well, like I said when I walked in, welcome to the Golf Tee Show. Now, whether my picks hold up this week or not, I have no fucking clue. Because to be honest, I didn't do as much research as I normally did. Because, well, this week has literally been a shit show.
Yeah, no, it's been a bad one all the way around. But for anyone who is not RJ, Tapology.com does not sponsor or endorse our podcast in any way, shape, or form. They do, however, host the ability for you to make a free account and pick your choices for upcoming fights. We have a group, a My Pick'em group on Tapology called ImNoBookie or Group 965, whichever way you need to search to find it. If you can take the 2 minutes and make yourself a Tapology account, you are more than welcome to join our public group and take part in our picks. They are all public answers. We show our picks here on the show, of course, but Tapology keeps track of all the stats in real time, and you can watch how your picks hold up against everyone else in the group as the fights play out. You can also get tail of the tape information in real time updated. Tapology.com is a wonderful site. I wish they would endorse us as sponsors, but they do not. That being said, feel free to join our group to take part in our picks. We also have our Discord server where we do talk some shit live during the fights. We also post news that does not get mentioned on the show. We have a Reddit sub thread where you can pop by, drop memes, talk some shit. We are basically on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, we are there. Video form of the show, 9:30 p.m.-ish Central Time, Thursday nights, youtube.com/ImNoJoe. Come by, hang out live. We appreciate it. Audio version of the show comes out a week later, anchor.fm/ImNoJoe. You can pick it up your podcast consumption platform of choice. That being said, if you want to support what we do around here, patreon.com/ImNoJoe helps us do what we do, gives you access to behind the scenes, unaired and literally unairable footage, and it gets your name at the end of the show as a nice little thank you. That being said, if you don't like what we do, first off, fuck you for staying this late in a podcast you don't fucking like. Give us a thumbs down. We won't dispute it, and we'll move on along. If you do like what we do, make sure the notifications are turned on, your bells are rung, you are subscribed on all the platforms where you are getting this, and we will see you on the next one. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. We appreciate you. That being said, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything, unless it's a ruble being worth less than a penny.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kicks were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening.
How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times.